Take away from mentioned multiple
One of my favorite runs of all time is Baseball League. Is anybody in the midst of the politics? It was his first attempt I watched a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? You got enough room? Okay.
To watch.
Oh,
All right, just hold on to break this in.
I was waiting for you to say no, and then you said, I said, one, two, no. The one thing with that though is I never know what Bob is going to bring up. Like, I generally have a good sense of what's going to be talked about when you get on the radio. You never know what Bob is.
no, it's a wild card though.
I think like, when you get on the radio, like, combat and so, rock that up and see what's on the line. So see the conversation.
They were trying to send me somewhere. I was like, you got to walk. Yeah. I was like, you got to walk down. So, yeah.
All right, folks, thanks for being here. Open up the questions today. Front row middle, Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports.
Hi, Ryan. Kate Silver moving back to the tight end. Why do you feel that move to your team?
First off, with Cade, I think we saw himself as a linebacker growing up, and then he came here. And then he put a whole year of work into playing tight end, and the way it played out in the Rose Bowl was really down to linebacker. I think when he got over there, he realized that he loved being over there at linebacker because who can play with that edge. So at the end of the day, it was really up to him to get one-on-one in the defense. And I think he saw, just, moving forward, he's got a huge ceiling to tight end. You look at the work he's put in the past year, and his skill set. I think he would tell you to take this mentality to the offense. And he can do that. He's strong, he's powerful, he's really athletic. Really good ball skills, really good physical, basketball player. So, he was back over tight end and kind of that.
Henry's worried on either side of the ball. I mean, what's been your biggest concern? I know they get distracted. That's what we any concern that you have? What would be the biggest concern Henry's worried? You feel better about
I think it's, first off, putting in new defense. So that's certainly a part of it. And I really have been impressed with the energy over there, the teaching that's going on. It's a long way to go. It's been the first 6 practices. We're off to a very good start there. I think the guys have confidence. But also just the physicality that those guys have worked the last 7 weeks to get in better shape, stronger, more powerful. So that part's good. They're playing confidence right now.
Go, deep right, Spencer Holbrook.
And just before that, just the other one's the offensive line, just because it's a new coach, and then with Coach Fry, just kind of getting that continuity and depth.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Spencer Holbrook.
Right, I guess that's where I was going to go next with the offensive line.
Yeah.
With Jim having the philosophy of not really tackling and you guys not wanting to do too much physical, what is there like a certain select things that you really want to see accomplished from Justin in that unit this spring, or is it just kind of take it by day?
We'll tackle some of this spring. Philosophically, there's some of the drills that that over the years. Sometimes we can get in bad habits. We just want to decide we're going to tackle the ground. And so we'll get a chance to do that. But going back to the offensive line, I mean, I think when you want to find out that you have 5 guys, and you want to find 6, you want to find 7, you want to find 8. And then it's just really a couple of things you're looking at. One is the run game, can we knock back on the screen, and you get physicality, and then the pass game, firm protection. And we're going against very good guys on either side of the ball every day, so we get challenged, which is great. I think the defensive line is a challenge in the offense, and vice versa. So we just kind of want to see how you stack up against each other every day in practice, how you compete. And I think guys have a certain amount of talent. They're pretty good talented guys. It's the discipline and skill that you have to create over time. And we'll look up in a couple of weeks and kind of see where we're at. We're in the middle of it right now. We're asking each guy to figure out what are your strengths and weaknesses, what are the things you need to work on. And by the end of each week, you'll have you address those things. And then you kind of come up for air to go to the next challenge. And as you get closer to preseason, we start to come together a little bit more as a group. But right now, the focus is on getting better.
You see that you guys have a lot of continuity on that side of the ball with the coaching staff, but is it almost refreshing to have a new voice in there trying to help lead the run game to where you guys want to be, since it wasn't exactly where you needed to be last year?
I think when you look year in, year out, there's always that talking about continuity, guys understanding where you want to be, and the experience, but then also having fresh ideas and a fresh point of view. A good mix of that is helping.
Third row left, Dan Bolt.
Follow up on, Cade, that tight end position as a whole. Where do you feel about where that is right now? Is there anyone else at that position that's starting to come along this one?
I think they're all getting better. It's still 6 practices in, but it's the group we had last year. But Mitch is out for the spring, so we don't have him. But it's the same group minus Rob. So younger guys got to step up and start to continue to build depth in there. And then we got to get a starter in there and get Cade going and get Joe going and get G going and see how they can fit into this thing. But we're not there right now in terms of packages. We're more about just trying to develop individuals and try to figure out what the skill sets are. And then as we start to go closer to the preseason, start to put those packages together based on the teams.
Tanner McAllister, he lost his left right. What have you seen from him? And are there any other newcomers that are starting to catch your eye?
Well, I think first off, what Tanner's done is he understands the defense. Almost like a coach out there, kind of role player coaches on the field. And he's been able to help guys with that. And, his experience really shows up on the field. we can recognize how teams are trying to attack him. And he was coming down this style. Obviously, he's getting years of experience in it. Other newcomers, I mean, there's a bunch that have flashed. I'd say one, I forget 2 or 3 of them have said, so I think that, hopefully we'll get some of those flash strikes on.
Second row left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.
We also have a U.S. sports soccer now. Typically, we do it around here, I think,
Well, yeah, I think that Paris, is the best for tackles, but I think there, we'll see him play guard and tackle in the NFL. So I think that was, fine. I thought that they did a good job there. And I think Paris did a good job guard too. And so the stretch teams that we did, just athletic, and that was part of them. But having Matt and Donovan in there at guard now, like you said, a little bit of a different skill set and size. And so I do think the perfect role you'd like to have is in the spirit of bigger size. It's necessarily even happens. That's the idea. And, those guys are going to give us something inside this. Yeah, Donovan, very athletic and very smart. Now it's about finding still playing guard at the highest level. Very, very good, very smart, very conscientious. So the more reps he gets, the better. We just never say never. That's what I told him, but right now it's not that.
Upper middle, Matt Murphy, 24/7 Sport.
Brian, you obviously had 2 cornerbacks that started last year coming back. We heard about some of the young guys towards the end of the season behind the 2 starters. What have you seen from that group, and how do you feel about the depth?
I feel good about it. I'll have to watch the film and see where it's at. Anytime you lose 2 really good players on the outside like that, that's a lot of production to place. And while guys are talented, those are 2 players that made a lot of clutch catches and counter off plays and third downs and better most. We think that we have some really good candidates to go and push forward to be those type of guys, but we'll see. It's going to take a lot of hard work. It's not just going to happen over 4, 5, 6, 7 practices. It's going to take time, and it's going to develop throughout the season. But I think we do have some good talented guys in that room, and the depth is due there.
We saw Josh Proctor doing a little bit more than at least we've seen. How is he coming along, and what do you like from what he's able to give this spring?
I mean, I wish he could do more. He's just kind of getting started and getting moving around up there with individual drills. And it's been a long road for him to come back from, and that's not easy. He's had a few injuries in his career, so wish he could do more right now, but he's finishing his way back. That's okay. Long way down.
Second row left, Bill Landis, The Athletic. Right, Donovan, see that he put last year close to being the starter for the
I would say he was probably 7 or 8 last year. And athletically, we felt great about putting him in, especially with the experience and the true freshman who came in the summer, not having a full year. That's a tough ask. Not saying he couldn't have done it, but that's why we kind of had to do something like that tight end stuff. We felt like there's something there. We didn't want to overwhelm him.
And I think maybe on the outside, people wonder whether the one how much time do we care about that? How to read that, those first things.
Yeah, there was conversation with Bill and there was conversation. He's identified where you think you could go in the draft, and if you want to come back, you can be a first or second round. That's his goal, and so he's been challenged with a set of things that he needs to get done if he wants to get there. I don't think there's any question. He has the ability, he has the talent to be one of the better tackles in the country. And whether he is or not, there's certain things that he's going to have to get accomplished during the off season, and then during next season to get that one. And consistency is going to be one of them. but he's done some good things, and I think he knows what those things are.
All right, Austin Ward, right over row.
Well, you know, we kind of moved Mitchell around a little bit, and he can, you know, farm a little bit more, and that's the brush skills and really shown here, which is practice, so that's been good. You know, we'll kind of continue to figure that out, but he has shown us that he can play on he's been out really well. The fact that you can move Mitchell around the sign, if there's more directly, we got to them. Situation. No, I think when you look at our numbers, when there is a little bit of option in that linebacker, especially we in 4-3-5. And because of that, you know, we can see that feelings and Cade move, not that was the reason why he moved, but we're going to see a little bit of movement there himself. Mitchell move going, and because we do have a lot of linebackers that are on the line. So the guys are under goal and Cade. That's a big part of coach. You have to figure out how do you best put guys in the spot to be successful. I mean, he's done that with this year.
Second row middle, Nathan Barrett, Cleveland.com.
Going back to the guards, with Mac Jones, this situation has been his last 10 years. It's really a good job. He's maybe set up a kind of a part-time job. Just for any athlete, I guess, now he's leaving. Wanted to athletic and better different. He's going to be a starter for having a starter. Does that help a guy at the stage of his career going into the season, letting him focus, letting him take that all right?
I think everybody's different. I don't think in the offensive line having some chemistry being in the squad and having the guy who's looking up to be the same guy over and level of consistency that can help the player. Some guys do better when they're in competition every day, having that culture. Some guys, you know, once they can put in that role, and you know that that's their role, you know, somebody looking over their shoulder all the time, they feel like they can focus and do it. I think everybody's different. We're hoping that this is a great opportunity for that. I think you said if you trusted in this role, and so far he's been doing a great job, but he's got to keep coming and keep growing because, again, like every position, you have state with expectations that you're the best in the country.
Speaking of the defense, did you guys see something different from Ron Vincent into the Rose Bowl, and does that give you crazy expectations at all?
You know, he had really good games. He flashed at times, and he has a lot of ability. We start here in the spring. So we're going to continue to
Dave had a really tremendous goal.
I just think his work ethic, his attitude, his production in the field, his work with him and Russ. I guess it's 9 weeks now. Gotten stronger, gotten faster. With another year under his belt experience, coaching the game, and all those things.
For your far right, Clay Hall, WSYS.
Is there more opportunity to tinker in the spring, or is there such a emphasis on fundamentals that you have time to do any of that?
No, I think both. I think you have to put the emphasis on fundamentals, but you can also take a look at different things. Sometimes you take a look at it, you're like, okay, this is going to take off. There's other things that you project that you may want to look at that just scratch, but we can look at it. So, systematically, you can do some of those things, and move guys around and look at those things, but you really want to make a decision whether that's a good investment or not. This is the time you're different. The journey you go on is different every year. Yeah. So this is a new journey for us.
Have you already tried some of those things?
Yeah. I mean, certainly with the defense and brand new, that's all we're looking at. But on offense, yeah, we've already kind of learned a little bit about this group. It's new. Even though you don't lose a lot of guys, it'll take some 1 or 2 that have a different dynamic. So we're kind of on that journey now. Just the beginning.
One more thing, what do you know about this helmet that CJ is practicing with, and what can be the possibility? Is it something 10 years down the road, or is this?
No, I don't really know a whole lot about it other than just, what I've been told. And, they're always trying to figure out different ways to, protect our players. And there's sometimes to get feedback from the players on what we see. What I've seen, certainly a wider vision from the face mask. But I know we could try to, I'd say maybe some of the cleats, gives, a couple guys that carry the cleats to see how that reacts to their feet and those type of things. And so, the guys are always trying to find different ways, and we're always trying to find different ways to keep our guys safe. And, so we'll get some feedback here from those guys.
Right behind him, Adam King, WDNS MTV.
You talk about the journey, is there anything maybe you've seen this spring that you wish was a little further along than last spring?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think, I really have been impressed with how the defense is challenging every day and getting different looks and changing those type of things. So that's been great. But no, I mean, I think, overall, we're right where we need to be right now, but when you're right where we need to be in practice 6 in spring, and a long way to go. I don't think we're ahead. I don't think we're behind. I think that, we just got to keep swimming.
When you look at bringing in the new defense and getting older, you're kind of halfway through spring here. Is this where you wanted him to be, and how different is watching how he's operated versus Terry in your past?
I think he has a unique way. I know that they teach their units, and it's been for me to sit in some of those and see how he teaches in the group when you break up the units. But I would say it's been nice to be around and see the different style. He really has his own unique style, and I think his teaching is very efficient. And the guys grab on to it. You gotta teach the teacher right. You say something, they say it back to you. It's been good so far.
Front row, Bill. Bill Dillon, what is this guy?
As expensive to me, it was, the company. I think it's just a year under his belt where he's more confidence, he wants to go certain things, he wants to take on the spring. That's a little bit, it's very serious. Guys around and he sees that, throwing sort of great on encouragement, if he sees going lower, he'll speak up. He'll get voice. He's such a great player, everybody, in the so I think I think running back in the spring is a little bit of a challenge because you're not tackling much, so that part's a little bit tricky. That level of vision we look at. So, I think each individual player can get better at the game. Has the so in focus really making sure that we're building that foundation moving forward. So I think that's happening, but that's really what I want to see. Is just guys get better, trade, get better at what they do. This team matters, but more important, it's just fundamental hands, blocking, tackling, those kind of things. Yeah, I think so. But this is what we see growth. We had 2 practices around spring break. Came back, kind of got our legs. So this week right here, you start to see something really happening.
Front row right, Tim Nick, Glenn Rock.
Yeah, go back to the scheme situation and the experimenting stuff. You see G. Scott with the possibility of stretching the defense that way. And every prior, maybe being able to stretch this way. Are those some of the things you're sort of looking at this spring that could be part and parcel? That you didn't quite have enough of last year. Just give you some idea of that.
Well, I think we have to figure out, how many guys deserve to be on the field. That's kind of how it works. So we have a lot of experience coming back, but we have a lot of talented young guys that are coming on for some of the field. And once we continue to build that, we can start to figure out, okay, how do these guys best get on the field to attack the defense? And those are what we have some other guys too that are building. And that's exciting, with Ross when he gets back, he brings a skill set that maybe Joe Wall or Ian Williams. So, the more of those guys we can have in the stable, the better. And we do have some really good talented guys. So, it isn't so much like a role, although some of it is a role, but it's also just putting guys in the best position to be successful based on their skills. I'm not asking someone to do something, the more they can do.
Yeah, you almost have to establish at their bring the position before you, instead of loose, right? I mean, that's tough. I mean, the G is still a cleaner size wise, for example. Now, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think you list the things that each guy can do, and then you know, you can put that package together. Now, the more things you can do, the more you can play. And same with defense. If somebody's a really good pass specialist, but they can't stop the run, you just like put it back. And then you know, if you're really good against the run, not as good against the pass, then you probably don't play the same time. If you're really good cover guy, which can't play the run as good in the back end, you probably do make a situation play against the pass. It's the same thing on offense. If you're a wide receiver, you can go in there and block somebody in the run game, but it gives you so much flexibility. If you're a tight end, you can go block a 7 technique, and then you can go inside, you're one wide receiver, go to safety or linebacker. That gives us a lot more flexibility. Because when you start to scheme up, you start to figure out what you're trying to do based on the personnel, and then that's the need for the coordinators. And so the more guys who can do different things, the better. And prior to example, he can go around everybody else out, but linebackers is running back in the backfield. That gives us something. So you can see the more skill sets the guys can do, the more of a weapon.
Hey, really quick, when Josh Proctor is supposedly on his game, what is special about him? What did you notice the last couple of years, even in preseason last year, that just sort of sets him apart? Maybe that's unfair to say that, but I think he's, my opinion, he's a little bit of a special guy. But in your mind, what do you want to see that tells you he's back? You know what I'm saying?
I do. Again, let me say that when Josh is at his best, what does he look like?
Yeah.
I think first off, he's rangy. He can cover all the ground. He's extremely physical. He will absolutely get after you. Whether it's, receivers in that field or coming up and playing the game. Listen, I think the coaches did the first time he played, he got after that here and tail back. He was physical. He did that hit in Wisconsin. He'll come downhill and play physically. And he also has really good ball skills. He can track the ball. And when he's playing at his best, he's all over the place. He plays with discipline. And can really affect the game in a lot of areas. He can get away with some things that they really don't see. And that's what we're looking for.
Put her all right, doesn't make what he's thinking about.
You're talking about some guys thrive with the competition, some guys maybe feel it more as they're looking over their shoulder to guy behind them. I understand at a place like this, there's competition every day. You have more than enough guys who can play. Do you coach guys a little bit different? How do you deal with the guy who says, hey man, we want to make sure we push this guy versus maybe tell the guy, hey, look, you're good, you got your spot. What's that like for you and your assistants?
Well, it's just a tough game to play at the highest level. And you have to be tough, competitively, you have to be tough physically, you have to be tough mentally to play in this game, otherwise it'll eat you alive. So that's the first part that we have to understand. That being said, certain guys, they have a little bit of fear of failure for whatever reason that is. And so I think for a lot of those guys, you try to communicate to them in a different way than you would somebody who just loves to compete. And if you get under their skin a little bit, that's going to bring up the best side of them. That's coaching. There has to be certain things that are consistent across the board, but everybody's a little bit different. And I think understanding each guy is critical. But at the end of the day, it's a hard game.
Last year, everybody knew what you talked about. It was a young team, right? I think you could maybe feel that during the course of the season. You have a lot back. You have about as much experience back as any major Power 5 team. You're only 6 practices in. When you feel it, do you feel at all that CJ's a second-year guy, Trevion's a second-year guy? You have some more pieces that are back. Do you feel a difference in what's made?
Yeah, but also, I mean, these guys are not 20-year vets in the NFL. They're a year in the belt, and there's still a lot of football for them to learn. But everything they're not doing for the first time, and that's good. There's a reference point to go back to going into the season, as opposed to just total unknown going into the fish. I felt like we had last year, and when you have that, you have doubt in your mind. That's just part of it, and there's a reference point which is important for us. But we still have a lot of football to learn, a lot of work to do.
And when you have a quarterback like CJ who's back in the second-year starter, third year in the system, you as the head coach and play caller, do you spend less time with him because he's more experienced and he doesn't maybe need to spend much time with you, or do you spend more time with him because now he's getting advanced and you and CJ can kind of shake this offense together? What's your time spent with CJ like?
About the same, because, you have to do both of those things. But trying to change just because it's year two, trying to continue the same mentality that we have. There are certain meetings that I'm in there, and certain meetings where I give them open space, but no, we're trying not to change that, just based on the same.
Got time for one more set of questions. Joey Compton, Plymouth Dispatch.
Thank you for the follow-up on eight. Is that from the?
You know, it's been constant conversations in the box towards ball. And, we want to make sure that his leadership in the offseason is kind of tested. Leadership. And now that he's a veteran in the program, and we'll see what put in the best position to be successful. Those are the conversations about it. And how that, he put it back to being successful. Well, we recruited both Steele and Chip as linebackers coming out of high school. It was kind of both, instead of trying back and great. Chip, that's where we recruited coming out of high school. He decided to go try running back here in the state, but now he came back here. He's back on the bench. So, we've got some different skill sets. I think having the awareness to play those ball is a good thing. Hey, but we're more they get in the ball.
We're fine.
I don't expect him to do that, probably just take it from the so we get him some teamwork, not contact.
Folks, thank you very much.
Thanks, Roger.
All right, folks, we're gonna open up the floor for Coach Knowles. We're gonna open up to Coach, third row middle, Colin Gay, Rivals.
Hey, Jen, I'm curious about, one of the things Ryan just said, where there seems to be a little bit of a logjam at the linebacker spot, and I'm curious what your view on that is, whether it's, Mitchell moving, work with it, down to Cade, tight end, I mean, what's your approach on that, and what is the leader of that one?
There's, you have to be able to make an assessment. In order to make an assessment, you've got to get the right repetition. So, now, there's improvement, right? You have to have that. So that's I can maybe do other positions just to get a chance to look at them. I think Tom has been a great leader for us. I really like what I've seen in Tom. I think he's mastering the defense quickly and making plays. He's quiet, but he's fierce. Taraja is also a guy who leads in more of a vocal way than Tommy. He gives us a lot of energy.
And I know that Trick's one of those guys that's coming from kind of making that transition like Steele kind of did, and like Cade and Thornton and things like that. So what have you seen out of him? Does he kind of look like one of the like he's transitioning well into linebacker, or what have you seen out of him?
Yeah, I've seen nothing but good things out of Chick. I like that conversion of running back to linebacker, and I like that recruiting and kicking. A lot of times we talk about sleep action. Go where the puck is and go where the puck is going. So these guys that are converting running backs, they can get a feel for where the running back is going to go back. And that's a pretty neat thing. Chip's doing great, so it's
Records for Christmas drop, on the Orioles.
I know, a couple weeks ago, you said you guys hadn't been able to improve the Rio position at all. I was wondering if you guys had a chance to do that, or if you could envision maybe a scenario where you guys don't play that as much this year than you have in the past.
yeah, we dropped a bunch of the names in the function. So my plan has been to push back off, so I'll download a bunch of information. And then I'll go back and call and see what going on, and download a bunch of information. And then we gotta get everything that comes through. Yeah, but we put it in today, and I told him we're not gonna call it a Leo, we're gonna call it a Jack for now, because the Leo is the king of the jungle, so it's that, so when you become a Leo, that's a big deal, because you can do what a DM does, and you can do what a linebacker. But right now, it's just more what we call a Jack position, and, yeah, a bunch of guys got a shot at it. Jack got a shot at it. I like him a lot. He's serious. The guy who's impressed me after the move, quickly, was a Mitchell. And Mitchell has done a great job for Coach Johnson, and then he put him in his Jack position, and I thought he should have very well. So he's going to be a guy who's a jump guy.
Any other guys around the school?
Yeah, we, AJ Green, we played a little bit for him, kind of come out and walk through that. Caden, I think, I've met some people who's gotten him, who's quick inside the ball. So he's a guy who, and then from the linebacker position, BA, they want to try to find a role for him. So we have BA involved in that job position, and also in a Sam position, which we realize sometimes against the team when they're putting two linebackers and a little bit. So we've got BA in there, and that Reed character, but also in that Sam position.
Just building off that previous question, they Ryan talking second was that player shooting. I played both sides of the ball versus multiple positions on the same side. About a group becoming maybe more common and whatnot. Just in your opinion, how advantageous is it for a player to go from running back to the other side of the ball, like switching to that flip and whatnot? In your opinion,
I think it's a great advantage if you utilize it, particularly in run, like I said, in run game and schemes and there's the escape patch when they see him with the back, see him when he runs the ball, and also understand linebacker construction. With our linebackers, and you understand protection, power back protects, or where he protects, how the slide goes, all this type of defensive game, you can really take advantage.
I know we talked about linebackers, but there's so many people surprised how you were able to get that. Talked to him last week, and you mentioned that was really changed his body compared to when he came to Ohio State a year ago. What are your early impressions of how you
I love the power. Really sure that tape on that. That's the thing. Every coach, our defense looks a lot different than team versus 7-on-7. You know, so we compete every day against one of the best offenses in the country. Great quarterback, great receiver, great stuff. We need that pass rush, and we look a lot different than we play penalties. It's been very impressive.
Obviously, you guys are pretty lucky at linebacker right now, because now we're talking about a little bit. But what has been the early impression of the early role linebackers, CJ Dixon, Dave Powers? Just how are they adapting physically to the speed of the game?
CJ shows a lot of short space quickness, and speed accent, and he has a outstanding ability to break on the ball. So I think it's considering CJ a lot of the quickness and speed that I expected. And then Gabe is he's quiet, but I think he's one of these guys that gets better every day. He is a serious student of the game, and I can see his trajectory as just in 6 practices of being completely upward. You know what I mean? He's a guy who just wants to learn, wants to grow, and he makes that transition from the classroom to the field.
In the summer, you have some Siles coming in and running on it, probably got linebacker also. How do you convince guys in all top 30 players in the country that special teams might be their role or not at all? And so you just personally as a coach, how different is it to have that level of talent when you can just always say, hey, you don't need to play this right now, you just need to work that.
Sonny was starting at safety. I mean, he'll begin his career at safety. He went shot to do that. He's big and so I get to see what he can do. But, you know, I don't talk about it that much because I want to keep pressing them to compete, right? I mean, I want to make it one day at a time. I say get better, they say every day, you know, maybe these little sayings back and forth with each other. So I don't really talk about that. I just want to keep pressing and how good can you be, where you going to go. And then, you know, it all kind of works out. You know, just you get to the first game and it is what it is. But Parker does a great job on special teams and showing you guys film, you know, like Pete when he plays special teams, you know, and then he's a as a young guy, you know, so he shows him some of these first, second round draft picks and how they started on special teams. So we put that message out there, but we don't pull off or really have a conversation with them until, you know, it gets really close to the game. He's going to be problem with things they can do.
All right, so Cleveland.
Jim, when you have a big group of linebackers like this, would you ideally rather have 2 guys seize jobs and be like, I'm not coming off the field, these are the guys? Or would you rather have maybe 4 or 5 or 6 different guys that you rotate just to give a breather of the situation over here?
Yeah, I think you always like to have them. A lot of times with linebackers, that's come down to just a couple guys who play into the rookie. And you want more because you want that ability if somebody goes down or spell somebody or to rotate. I think linebacker is a field kind of game, you know, like a running back. So that's worth playing a bunch. But you want more guys that are competing. You want guys that are tugging on your shirt saying, Coach, why am I not in there? You know, and if there's something incomplete about their game, you tell them, okay, well, this is what it is. But if it's not, then you got to put them in there. You know what I mean? So you want guys that are good enough and are pressing to go and you want to make it.
You talked about that same position and when you're facing 12 personnel and Wisconsin, Iowa, I guess, right, some teams on the schedule. I apologize. How often did you face that at Oklahoma State? How often was that a consideration of making sure you have
Yeah,
that
not a lot. I mean, we were prepared for it. And we faced a good deal of 12 personnel. But we never really had to get into it because, you know, 12 didn't really play like 12. You know, so 12 was playing more like 11 and we were able to do mostly everything with our base defense. So we had the sub package, I call it, prepared. But we didn't have to use it a lot. I predict, you know, not to use it more.
Just some of those offenses, you've got to get that third one back on the field with personnel that get out there.
River left, Steve Helwig, 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Coach, I noticed on your Twitter after a lot of practices, you put out a silver bullet of the day or whatever. Just curious what some of the parameters you're looking for. I presume it's people who are picking up concepts, running fast, those kind of things. Just what kind of positive reinforcement Is that bringing, are they competing for that every day?
Yeah, they're competing, you know, we finally gave it to Mitchell, I think was just the most recent guy, and he had been running, you know, we kind of let them know, also receiving votes, you know, kind of like, hey, also receiving votes, so you're close to it, yeah, we let them know. Yeah, it's a staff vote every day, you know, every day we have a practice in pads. We kind of go around the ring after we're done watching all of them. And so we said, we decided to go to, and guys nominate guys and we vote on it. So, you know, don't know why, like they said, right? So it's just a matter of, you know, like you said, who's that guy who's not only picking up the concept, but making plays, playing very well.
Hugh Carrico is a guy kind of got swept under the rug last year because of that sugar. We didn't see a whole lot. One of the many guys you've been here. What's your thought first couple months working with him, and has he got a chance to push his way into the season?
Yeah, Reed has a chance. I mean, he's a quiet guy, but he's definitely determined, and you know, I see him making progress every day. And then we had Cade when he was with us, kind of working that same position as one of the guys, and put Reed in there today. I thought he did a good job. So I think he's got a chance to really contribute in that area.
All right, behind him, you got Bill Landis, the athletic. Jim, I guess maybe first conceive the idea of the Jack or Bill and how you move it around. Is that more of a means to show up in a forward looking or a passing game? And you see some guys who play the last contact, or the also feel like it's a really disruptive position for you. Put attention over
Good, great question. It started definitely as a run scheme this way, right? Because you talk to offensive coaches and they're always, you know, they have to make different plans for 3 down and 4 down. And what are you? Can you do both out of the same person? So it starts as a run game disruptor, and then it goes to now all of a sudden, once you got the guy moving around, you got him in different places, and you see how the offense adjusts to that and your speed, and you can come back with other things and handle your passing. That player is productive in terms of the pass rush, because I think they develop the mentality. You know, they develop the mentality of being kind of the wild card. You know, being the guy who makes plays. I think it's a great recruiting tool. But yeah, it started in take the zone read. Easy, right? So now you take that guy and you send him off the edge. Is he taking the running back or is he taking the back? So that, you know, I can make 2 different calls. We got a speed guy, tough guy coming off the edge, and which one you gonna take? You know, so it's a disruptor right there.
front row right, Austin, Ford, let him roll.
The combo and then back it up. I would think that given the urgency and getting results on the road, you want to go out. How do you balance the patience of receiving and the wanting to do everything in the
Meditation, cigars. You know, you just got to look in their eyes because, you know, we're going Monday and we're down there with, you know, 9 defenses in jetpack, which we just put off in the jet. You know, and then you go and you do it against cans and you run around and do it against just trash cans, you know, and then you do it against the offense and then, you know, I just run around like crazy saying, go here, go there, you know, because you're trying to get pound. No, you're away from the back, you're to the back, you're moving, you know, just trying to move them all over the place. And then they're fine, and then you kind of see their eyes fade, and then you know, okay, it's time. You know, they're like, okay, give me a period of just, you know, base 4 down. But you're right, I want to get it all in because of the urgency, but also so I can teach. And I don't want to keep showing. I want to get it on tape, good or not so good, and then we can that's when you put it off.
Do you envision whether they get one rep or under it, when you're seeing everything you want to do better, sprint or looks good and stuff, but, you know, get through it, and that's how we're trying to.
Front row right, Joey Coffin, former state rep.
It all started with me at Western Michigan, Ryan and Jason Brown. It was the first thing, the first one that I kept in high school. And then I but we had some great examples from our home state of guys that tackle both the running back and the quarterback, just be really good as well. So there's a lot of fun. There's a whole clinic that I've done for high school guys on it, that you can show all of it. There's a lot of fun. We all started with basic Oh, he was a running back in high school. He was a running back in high school. He talked about it. He broke his leg his senior year and didn't play in this time. That's all he got. Yeah, so he wasn't the typical. I haven't seen him do anything. He won. I think one of the last year, he's a guy that can really change the game. He's really not a safety, so I just kind of
Front row middle, Dave Miller, 24-74.
I did, I took a thought on JP Kudo a while, maybe his role, and the defense, what do you think it might be, but I think skill set in game.
I think JP has been great, excellent kickoff, the reactions, all excellent. Saw him the other day play in Tony and see that, he played the ball and did that. It's really impressive. Really impressive. He's got quickness in his feet. I've got everything he's done so far. I think he can be on.
Sure, we were hired to, you knew you were going to get noticed, and really good at it, a lot of time. Is it a knowledge you expected, or maybe you just maybe have the more time that we just say,
I think Dr. Lawrence, it's been very impressive. He's been on his screen and the way that he's been running the pass. That's why he gets
Right behind us, Steve Means, Cleveland.com.
Yeah, it's I was talking about this, it's a short space, ability to disrupt an offense, whether you're a linebacker, you come off the edge, I'm really looking for guys sometimes fix yourself in small spaces, looking for those things, looking for the guy to turn the corner, really in the face, and can make plays, really you got to
Front row middle. Bill, for a minute, let's go up with dispatch. You've been here about 3 months, working that time to get acclimated. What do you, how are you?
I love Columbus. after 4 years of on the planes, life on the planes, you know, being a city guy, you know, I love the city. Otherwise, so it's really, like, it's not that much to adjust to when you're a coach. When you're a coach, I mean, you're in there and you're grinding and your next practice and evaluation and you're working with the players and where you're gonna go with the installation. So it's you kind of have blinders. So I do like the city. Yeah, I mean, I do, I try to keep that in the back of my mind, but I want to keep, at this point, you know, that's going to be something that will definitely be on my mind that we actually get into a game. But right now, I want to, you know, push them whatever level they're at, push them to a higher level, right? Continue to download information, drive them, you know, up the hill, you know, and then to see where we can go, you know, spring, camp, summer, how much we can learn, you know, I'm not quite thinking about the talent level now, but I will. When it comes to game point, right now, what do I need to do?
Just a few more questions. Front row, Remington, name, Donovan Rowe. Yeah, Jim, did you early view the name, like, three safeties you got their eye on right now that could be in that group? I mean, obviously, like you said, Jerry Dunn, Josh Proctor, we practice, et cetera. But the three safeties that caught your eye that you threw out there today.
Oh, I mean, I love Ronnie. I think he's got the skill. I think he's got the savvy. I just think he's a great piece in the middle there. Down the show back there, that's the way he plays. You know, and then Court, I think, is an excellent leader. You know, we're going to continue to look at him in terms of the matchups that we may face from wide receivers. And he needs to improve his that. And I got to make sure I put him in good position, but I know I can go with him. I can trust him. And I know that he's going to give everything. It doesn't matter if he's in the right position. And I think our nickels are really solid. You know, Dan really understands everything about music scheme. Cam and Legends been playing there too. I mean, I think we've got some impressive nickel players. But yeah, without Josh, I think I still have some other guys step up there who have been Brandon and Justin.
And is there any time when you look across the line, either watching video or watching a play, and you've gone wild without one of those offensive guys? I mean, it's caught your eye with this offense. I mean, from CJ to Trevion, Jackson, whomever. It's one of those guys that caught your eye.
You know, it's every day. It's 7-on-7, like I said, because it's a great quarterback. 7-on-7 can be true. And that quarterback does catch my eye. Yeah. He throw a lot. And I remember when I was at Ole Miss, I played really, CJ, diagnosed. There's always a soft spot, right? We're trying to diagnose. We're trying to go off rotations, right, and try to see the quarterback and do all those, show one picture, and another. And I think he does a great job of figuring that out, getting involved, because there's always a hole, right? And you know, I talked with the range. You guys were agreeing, you know, because of challenges and that, you know, and we've got a great relationship between the offense and defense here. Coach Day is really, I mean, I've been forced by walking for, you know, unbelievable culture. And there's no egos and everybody gets along. And we're all working together, and it's not about trying to win the drill, we're just trying to get better on offense and defense, and what that part is.
Jack Sawyer talked about this the other day about just the attitude they had since the halftime of the Rose Bowl on. I'm talking about up front, whatever. Like you talk about it most times a day, it's really interesting. You get those four guys going. How much do y'all keep challenging them about what they can do?
Oh, yeah.
There were times last year when they weren't that. You know?
I don't know about last year, but I know that, yeah, we put in our sack package the other day when we started with third downs, you know, which is just before that pass rush was becoming so traditional. And, you know, it's been just a way, you know, you see those guys come out with the ball. And we're often disguising around them, blitzing and trying to create one-on-one matchups. And, I mean, you see it surge. That's all I know. I know what to do.
Second row, middle, Nathan Derek Cleveland. Because of how quickly the season is, do you turn out one of those, is it a draft or is it?
I think eventually, yeah, not right now, but I know he's very good studying. We may move to that, you know, when we get, ideally, you want the position to become that Leo. And then you have to build, you know, I think JT can do it, you know. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I highlighted him the other day, for all the young guys to see, hearing the eventually. I highlighted him chasing the ball, chasing the receiver down the field, you know, good 20, 25 yards and coming to a chop, you know, at the ball. And that's just a great thing. So I've been impressed with his leadership and his effort. You know, he's aggressive in practice.
One final question, Doug Lavery, please, Dr. I think we could ask 400 questions about the Jack. It's so interesting. There have been some guys here, defensive ends at Ohio State, like Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, and Chase Young, guys like that were great rushers off the edge. If they were in your defense right now, would they be ideal candidates for the Jack, or are there some guys that you can, I don't want, maybe I don't want to move them around. I want to let them get on that tackle and just rush the passer and not be the Jack.
Yeah, if they're that talented, you know, those guys are exceptional. You're not you're just going to let them go, come off the edge. Yeah, it might be fun, but you got to balance that with what are you taking away from what they do.
And then when you're thinking about this Jack position, how much is the football acumen part of it, the movement and being able to figure out where they should go, and how much freedom does that Jack have moving around on a single play, or do they know exactly where they're supposed to move to because you told them in this look at this play you're going to move in this spot?
Right. The football acumen, the football intelligence is really, really important. Being able to read schemes and handle a bunch of information from me. Because you're right, I'm going to tell them exactly what to do. That's my job. I'm going to call them. There's a bunch of choices. You know, go here, go to the back, go away from the back, go to the tight end, go away from the tight end, go. You know, so it's all contained within the call. There's a lot of learning that they have to do. But we want to be able to have all that at your disposal. So I think that's what makes the defense good. Is my job to fix problems, and that back can fix problems. You know, if I can call them.
Thank you very much.
Come on.
Well, if you get a great season.
The fact you didn't say go bird.
Why didn't you say go bird?
So disappointing.
You trained me to say it.
All right, folks, we're gonna open up questions here. George Wilson, we'll go with third row left, Dan Hope, Run Warrior.
Kevin, HL, we're coming back out there with the tight end with you today. I know you talked after the road goal that was really important to have him focus on one position. Do you feel comfortable now that the tight end is the right spot for him and that's what he's going to play?
I think that would a lot be with him too. I believe that to say someone doing something that's best for the team, it doesn't work, it's gonna be best for the guy. So if Kate thinks it's best for him to be there, I definitely think he has the skills to be very, very good. He's 258, 60 pounds, he's got blocking presence. Phenomenal. When I grew a lot of respect for him, I probably had more respect for him after he went to defense, the way he played defense, the way he worked out in the winter, because he became truly one of the premier top leaders of his team, the way he approached our workout and all that. So my thought when he came back was I wasn't going to tie his hands. I was going to try to get him to play with the energy and the passion that he likes playing defense. We're going to play in control, be reckless, and have some fundamentals per se. I'd like for him to play to his strengths. So today, he kind of came back just to give it a go here a little bit. We'll see how it's going. He's going to move back or two. There's a bunch of linebackers. He's trying to make it, to me, if he just trusts his heart instead of what his heart takes him, I think he'll be good at it. His heart leads to defense. I would say he needs to stay there. So I didn't ask him to come back. Coach David asked him to come back. He's the guy that said, hey, as we want this thing, can I give you a shot? Let's see. So that's where we're at then. He had a good day. It was decent. Okay, but it's a talent tell. Just not trying to force it. We don't put him over there in the goal practice because we were down on numbers. He had ball, he had fun, he wanted to go with it. Him, Coach Dave's we'll have some guidelines, and we'll give our guys some directions, but I mean, Coach Dave believes that we give the players a chance to make sure it's good within their heart, within their soul, what they're trying to do. So, as Cage was doing this today, doing okay. And I personally like that. It's not about me, it's not. And me doing my job with the guys. So he's with me, I'm all in. We'll see it the weeks to go, months to go.
I know
I do agree with it, doesn't need to go back and forth.
I know, Bill Royer, D. Scott, a couple guys who are looking forward to stuff up at that spot, but so far this spring, what have you seen?
They've been really good. In fact, I told them after the first week and then after last week, I don't need them to do better, but I need them to keep doing what they're doing, just keep getting another day, because they keep stacking up good days. We're basically playing tackle, we're basically playing receiver, so we're doing all the jobs. If you just keep having a good day, you'll get more confident, you'll get more confidence, and your role is going to grow. So they've started good. They're still, around the, G's probably between 233 and 235 most days. Joe's around 239 and 242. Still like to find 5-8 pounds of pieces to keep moving, keep developing, but they're developing nicely. They're making some good plays in the pass game. They're better in the blocking game. Cade gives us a little bigger presence on the edge. So sometimes it's just the matchups that Coach Day and myself, Coach Fry, put them in as we develop run game and protections, because it's one thing to do a job, it's looking about the matchups. So it's kind of how we get those guys enough stuff. But I like Joe, I like G and the way they've started. And my prayers that they just continue to just keep doing it. Good things are going to happen for them, good things are going to happen for us.
Over here far right, Adam Finkel, you get it, NTV.
Every year is different. When you look at this coming back on offense, a lot of people room that obviously stacked. I know you were getting records, but in your time here, is this the most stacked offense you had going on?
That's a good one. I mean, to me, it's only good when you look back at the end. I've always said from an offensive perspective, you can only do what the quarterback can handle, and you can only do what the line can block. So if you know the quarterback has a chance, it looks like he's pretty good to handle up now as you're evolving the new line. Okay, where are their strengths and weaknesses? So I think it's the line, and that's the tight end that Jeremy Bowman is that tight end room that we were talking about a minute ago again. If that group complements the line, that would determine really what other skill guys can do, because you can't block it.
You can't run it, you can't throw it. So some great skill pieces. I think what he has a chance to get is a tremendous line and a solid tight end group. But those are groups only good for consistency. You know, a guy comes out, kicks a 50-yard field goal, you carry him off the field. You guys have posters of him. You know, he made one play. You know, those linemen, it's every day. It's every day. It's Tuesday, it's Wednesday, and every day it's going to be good on good. And you keep building that. And if we have a chance to be, like you say, stacked, and that line will keep stacking those good days, and those tight ends stack those good days, and that'll give us the balance and the consistency to be an elite team. So it's stacked with skill, but we got to make sure we stack it with consistent up front to be a good team.
When you look at CJ, obviously, maybe last year, now he goes into a full spring as the starting quarterback. How much can he throw, and how much has he grown so far in spring?
The thing I think with CJ is he still hasn't played a lot. He's played so well. He's naturally, to me, extremely smart and visually sees things so well. Things I think that are hard to coach. But sometimes when you're that good, that early, it's the ability of the coaches to make sure they don't get bored. You know, they keep, it's every day, Tiger would be out there with the sticks and get the alignment right, the first thing you learn in the first lesson. So as advanced as he gets, that he stays with his fundamentals and he keeps the main thing, and just keeps his feet and keeps trusting his coaches, keeps trusting what Coach Day, Coach Dennis, and Coach Finch have to know about what those guys are. And he believes that, and embraces that. And sometimes get a lot of notoriety. It's hard to quote, just keep your feet on the ground, stay grounded. He is a tremendous kid though, and he'll keep working at it. He keeps working. Great players. To me, I go back and a few times I had a chance to see a guy like Drew Brees on a walk through and blew me away. A veteran player, how would they did things. So when these young talented players have such great success, get hyped up. The great ones have a way of staying centered, staying grounded, keeping it simple, listening to their coaches, being great team leaders. He's off to a great start. I think he's got a much higher ceiling than you see. I think he's unbelievably good. There's a high ceiling going to be exceptional.
All right, Oscar Moore, let it roll.
Other than that, great Jimmy, as a kid, we've been working with him for a while. If he stays with that tight end unit, what do you see as the ceiling for him when he becomes you've got to have it left out, make play in that way. If they do all around thing, or what do you see them doing back to that tight end? So, I mean, the blocking piece is a little bit bigger to those guys, and the blocking piece to be good, we do it all. And to be good, what we like to do in time, we did a little bit better last year, I thought, with Mitch, was when Mitch was able to play the strengths that fit him. And in time, if you get some consistency with Cade, and then with G, and then with Joe, we can play their consistency. They all are going to have to block. What are they blocking matchups? What's the structure of the defense? And then to be good as the receivers are, we still need to find ways to get them on the field and work them in progression. But they have to earn the right, as Coach Davis said, to command the ball. You got to be up there every day and show CJ you can separate and get open. If not, it's going somewhere else, or if not, we go somewhere else in that field. So I see Mitch in time do that 21, a little bit tight end, a little bit of fullback moving around guy. I see KB, a tight end that we'll see where the passing grows, which I think to go high. I really like the way Joe and G were coming, that are the little bit more athletic, I can catch, but are coming and blocking. G probably doing as well. Any of those guys with block fundamentals. It's just getting stronger and consistency with that. So in a perfect world, you put them on the field, and if they go big, we spread them out. You got guys that go. If they go little, you got some bigger bodies, and you control the line of scrimmage and up the line. It's kind of like a basketball. And to me, the tight end group's like a basketball unit. And it'd be nice if they were all 6'5", 6'6", and 260 or 70 and ran 4.4. But they're not. Typically, some guys block better, some guys run out better, run routes better. But when those guys get going, you put them on the field, you can move those parts around, you can take advantage of matchups. And that's what we're looking for, whether it be a blocking matchup or a route matchup. And that's where, to me, that group can grow and enhance our 11. Right now, we're 11. It's hard enough to get a Mecca up there. It's hard enough to get Jackson and what we're getting with Marvin and Julian, the youngest. So there's going to be a lot of 11. But when 12 goes on the field, it needs to be a 12 that can go big enough to match you and still spread you out and make plays based on how you want to match up with us. So it's like playing basketball. They pack it in, you got to hit some threes. They spread it out, you got to attack the post. It's the same kind of deal with the tight end.
interested. I think he's gonna be a little bit more skilled, but like the one young man a couple years ago, Oklahoma, Brody Ellers, one of my favorite players, a tremendous blocker. He locked him down. He's a fourth-round pick for the Colts. He played a handful of years. He's got a little bit of that defensive. He goes right to the end. You know, he was a high school running back from a small rural town. So grew up on a farm. You know, drove a truck. You know, wore white T-shirts a lot. You know, he's very. I think he's not as good a blocker as that kid is yet, but I'd like to see him be that. I think he could be a better route runner. That's a high standard for me. I'm chasing him to be it.
Third row right, Doug Landry's Cleveland on top.
Kevin, you mentioned CJ's vision and being able to see it. Obviously, you guys coach him up, he gets in the film room, but how much is a trait like that? Some of it is innate, or how much can that just be learned to be able to see the field?
You know, I think the more you do it, you can some degree learn it, but I think I got to play center guard. I coach quarterbacks before him. I stand right behind him. I have no idea what to do. I don't see that. I see that big guy getting ready to slant. I see this twist getting ready to happen. I see that linebacker pumping. I see the safety taking down. But when they start going like this and like this, the ability to see spaces. Some guys are very gifted at that. They naturally see it and keep their eyes downfield. And they have the ability to anticipate and see spaces. And I guess through time, it's a little bit learned, and the trial and error and reps, you get better and better and better at it. I think he had some good training, but when I was a young coach, I had a friend of mine now coaching in the NFL, having a great career. He was complaining. I said, "Come on, give you tell me what's open." I don't have a clue. I'm standing right here on the play. I don't know which one's open. I don't see that. But those quarterbacks, some guys can see it, some guys can't. You can work to improve it. As a coach, you try very, very hard to improve as many situations as you can. But I think sometimes there's a gift that guys have. And it's hard. I maybe didn't ask that question to Coach Day, who played the position, because me not having played it, I really don't see that. But you know, I know Coach Day standing on the sideline can see the game as a quarterback. You know, I see it through the lines of the line. He sees the game a little bit different. Offensive views, defensive views, like Coach Noel has. Great view, completely different than mine. We all have different views. CJ's got that view of a quarterback, and he has a unique gift of seeing it. Whether he's learned it or maybe I think a lot of it's innately out there.
I know you guys make a game plan that brings out the strengths of your quarterback and their entire offense. If you have a quarterback that you know has that skill, that can see it, do you have to call the game a little bit differently if you have that maybe help a quarterback see it, a guy who doesn't have that as much versus a guy that you think, hey, CJ's going to be able to identify what's going on out there?
Yeah, I think you just get hesitant when you're not sure what he's seeing. And one of the best ways, and I would be certain that most of our coaches would tell you, one of the best ways you know if a guy sees, you just ask him what he sees. Because when I'm watching tape right now, I'm watching with the tight ends. I'm running it back 20 times. I've watched it like the day before, and I'm sitting for 3 minutes talking about a play. But you got about 2.1 seconds to see what you see. And I don't know what you saw. And you saw it up here. We're showing you film from up here. That's what I saw years ago. We used to have a quarterback stand behind and do plays, and Sam Bradford would get mad at me and say, I'm standing deeper. It doesn't even look like it, Coach. I really don't want to do this. He was kind of mad about it. Like, look, I want you guys to get no reps. He goes, yeah, Coach, I'm 10 yards behind. I'm really standing. That's not even the view I see. I see it from up in there. And so I just think if you try to enhance the guy, but when you put them in the drills and you ask them what you're seeing, and you hope they give you feedback. I saw the linebacker do this. And as a coach, you just remember that. When you go to that tape, that linebacker would have done that. But when that linebacker doesn't do that, you know, he doesn't know what he's seeing. He's making up. He's you know, and when that happens, you get hesitant to call things. You try to call simple things because you're not sure what he's seeing. The more you know that you can trust what the quarterback sees, the more aggressive and the more assertive you are.
Front row middle, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Sit down. I don't know how much you're trying to ask with what are your impressions of what you've brought to defense change?
Well, I think, you know, we're still, you know, adding or just to change that one, you know, they're still putting in packages or things for him. But what, to me, I think he's got long enough that he's got things that he believes in. And now that he has things that he believes in, I think the package in the way that he knows how to implement the package and how to give his players a chance to then have confidence and see what's going to happen. They're doing a great job of multiple front or movement or alignments or coverages. So basically, every play as an offensive line, as an offensive skill player, as a quarterback, they're making you really work. But the way it's put in, it's structurally sound. It's reasonably gap centered. They're still making, I'm sure you'd say, a boatload of mistakes. Guys are trying to right, not hitting everything perfectly, but the structure appears to me to have a chance to be very sound, but at the same time making the offense work very, very hard. And the more the quarterback has to work, and the more the offensive line has to work to do their job, the harder the game. And they're making that catch work, and then you're doing some really good things. A lot of those guys are back, and we're too beat. Sometimes even our threes on defense, running out like ones and 1.5. So there's some good looking kids that are running around. He's done it long enough, knows what he believes in, knows how to present it. I think he's presenting in a way that's building confidence. I think he's putting these guys in very, very good positions on the field. And they're feeding off of that. We've got a long way to go. It's 6 days of practice, summer, preseason, no little games. You know, as we go out, to me, been on time off the way it looks. He's presented a lot of challenges for us, which I think is awesome because every week we get work hard. People trying to stop things that we do. No one plays static football. And they're playing, to me, he has a great understanding of what he believes in. And I think he has a great, and it appears I've not said his meetings, but I think he has a great way of capturing his room, his players, and the way he implements them. And then with that, I think he's showing the feedback, the things I like, the things I don't like. This is great, do it again, so I think he's building confidence. These are errors, it's them like that, so you keep talking with them. But, I mean, it's been a lot of good work going this thing. We're making this work, which is fun. I mean, Johnson coaches, which is a coach, it's like, we're making this work, finding what are we watching, who we watching, how we identify, what's the coach's first ball, what we watching. It's really been very challenging, it's been very, very good. It's been a very good, but we've had to work on offense to have our share of success when we've had it. It is not really easy to have people. You know, they split point, but it didn't say much in stuff to us to ask. He's got great process here, it appears. Intelligent, very smart guy. He's got great defensive view. He's done it long enough. I think he knows the things he believes in. I think he understands how the issues, how to present issues to the quarterback and offensive line. At the same time, how to be sound in the wrestling. We're getting after. He's done a long time. He's very close. Down there, we got it.
Second roll left.
It's been 30 degrees. They did open my golf course Friday. It's been 30 degrees. Yeah.
Second roll left. Gonna land is the athletic.
To run the ball, play the ball, you have to have
I think it's easier if you do. I think if you don't have tight end, it's really good. If you get forced in, the quarterback has to be a part of reading. If the articles of once and always, they always get loaded. When the tight end's there, the box is going to get loaded, but it's loaded one gap wide. So it's just some more runs. So you can do some spread runs, but when the time is off, you get into a quarterback heavy run game. He's got to be reading an extra defender. But again, in zone read or end game, or quarterback bash, and power read games, or even get into the RPO game. So to hand off sometimes, when you have one or two tight ends, you lighten the edges. You get a chance to get an A or B gap run that doesn't do that all the time. And even practice sometimes, coaches, they would guys say, hey man, we should be these plays. I don't want a relief though, I want to run. Yeah. Sometimes when you want to run, you need to have that time. Or a 6 offensive line. Because even you can put an offensive tackle in and say, well, he's not going to run a route. They still have to not cover the D gap. Because you have an A gap, center guard's A, B, C. And when you put a tight end down, they have to give you widen things 3, 4, 5 feet. You run 2 hammer away from him, if that makes sense. So you can, even if you need to be an offensive lineman there, you say, well, he's never going to run a route, but they still have to cover down on that person. And that makes sense to me. It's just, you can run the ball better. That's why in the NFL you don't see a lot of the spread run stuff because the quarterback team got to run the field.
You guys seem to have pretty nice receivers this year, and we could have played for a while out of that wanted to, but it's a lot of you know, project that we just didn't want that.
His thing can run the ball unless, back when we had JT, you probably get a lot more 10 because he was a running type quarterback. Back years ago when two stock at Northwestern, Coach had Tebow, those guys. You had running guys and do this on where you get the quarterback run, the quarterback draw, and all that. Because when you can leave the tailback on the linebacker and the quarterback draw. It's not. And CJ is a very adequate runner. He's also a great passer. We don't want to overdo that. He has been very, very capable of pulling on running. We'll still have him as a running threat. He's not a lead running threat. He's a great thrower. We can easily throw the ball. But to me, when they know you're throwing, then your rush starts hurting because here comes the pocket just collapsing on you. When you've got the run game, you can play action, you move the pocket, and having quick little action passes with shots off of that. There's a lot of good offense. So, we're always going to be pretty good in drop that game. We're always going to have. It looks like Brian's going to continue to develop and recruit great receivers. But I think to be the offense, we need to be that line at tight ends. Make it off the chart good or make us talented, but maybe have some hiccups along the way.
Just a few more. Front row middle, Dave Middle, 24/7 Sports.
I get it. Eric Johnson, that left back, was obviously a very talented guy. How close is he to becoming a player you want him to be? Maybe what does he need to improve on the most?
I think just out there on that one-on-one, island of pass blocking so much. He played a lot last year, but inside guard, you got a center help, won't have the protections that the center will do. Now you're out there against probably the premier rusher of every team. I think I saw the other day, if I can believe the NFL draft that experts, I think in the first round there's 5 projected first round DNs that we played against. You know what I mean? And so that's good on good. So he's now in a real matchup and a blown matchup that over time. Thankfully, with the guys we got and what Coach Johnson teaches it, we told you a lot of phenomenal work and a one-on-one rush and every time the team passes the team. As soon as we grow, it's just getting him comfortable. The one-on-one, I can play against the elite player. Yeah, I'm the elite talent, but I'm the elite player. And I got CJ blind spot. So as we go, as he continues to grow and get more comfortable, that'll be a huge part of the offense game. Again, being quality on the attack.
And last up tight end as well. It seems like the numbers are good there now. Are you concerned at all, especially at the stage the guys could frankly about setting out a year? Are you concerned you might lose a tight end?
Yeah, I mean, we're always concerned with that in every position. That's part of it right now. But at the same time, with this team, there's nothing yet a lot because the development of Coach Schmidt, even the guys that left, the guys that done the best, and the guys that stayed and gave themselves a chance to develop. And they developed here through Coach Schmidt, through practice, and through the coaching that they have. So, it's going to be hard to keep everybody happy in every position. It's a challenge, but also too, we're not just giving many guys happy. We got to develop. We got to win games. So there's a little bit of give and take. So they got to embrace the competition. They got to embrace the grind. They got to embrace the consistency. They got to embrace the muck and the dirty. And because when you're playing O-line and tight end and running back, inside the 25 plays, that's grinding. That's dirty. It's not what you see on college football at 9 o'clock. The Hurst college stuff now. Today was college football. We were college play. And it was period forward. It was inside. And let's go. And there's 22 people, or there's 18 people up there trying to wear out pants. They're wearing out shoulder pads. And who wants to play, get behind your pads and play football. And the guys that are going to be good, they're going to embrace that. Because those tight ends that are going to be good have to embrace that wherever they're going to have to be a good tight end. They have to embrace the grind of what it takes to be that block guy. And then when you're in a place like this with Coach Day and the quarterbacks, we'll get you the ball if you command the ball. You embrace the grind. You command the ball. Your career will be.
Or your front row right. Play all of the SYF.
If we had the cockpit voice recorder of the Rose Bowl when CJ and Jackson were having a field day, what would that sound like between you and Ryan? What's the back there? What was the repartee?
Early when it wasn't going good, and I've been around some teams where we scored a lot of points, but we had a hard time maybe get stops. I was like, just calm down. We can block them, and we can get open. And just calm down. We got to score again. And let's just score again. And then if we were throwing it so well, let's find a couple runs that we could go with that they didn't tee off on the rush, and the way we protected wasn't very well against a rival. So to come back against that one defensive end was Pac-12 D-line of the year. So to come back and hold up and pass pro was key for that game. How good Bears were to hold up and pass pro one-on-one. One of the keys for Jackson was pass pro was pretty good that day. It was really pretty good that day. And it was against one of the elite rushers. Okay? But to me, it was just like, I didn't realize they were down the corners they were. We actually went to the game thinking, okay, we're down a couple of our receivers. We're going to have to play a little slugfest game to keep them close. And all of a sudden you fall down 14 or 17, like, okay, man, we got to line up. And all of a sudden we get a lot of chicken grease here. Those guys, but great to pass for. I mean, Jackson made some plays and the guy can put the ball on target and you can see things he can distribute, but the pro got more. And yeah, I think in a game like, I think we ended up with like 110 yards rushing. But I think if you count the running plays where we threw the RPO, we had 240 yards of offense. Because sometimes we're running and you're spinning the RPO out. So in the 31 rushes, we had 240 yards of rushing. It was 7 point something play at the time we had a running play called. So sometimes they're cheating the box and you got to distribute a little bit, which you did. So, but my deal like is let's just calm down. Let's just keep playing. They ran in the third quarter or something that they did. Wisconsin, Oregon game 45-38. They did like the thing on the Jumbotron. I looked at the scoreboard and said, we're going to beat these guys 45-38. I go, come on, let's get a stop. Let's get a stop. We're good 45-38. Thanks, you good?
I'm gonna get in trouble if I keep this going. Just one or two more. Coach, front row right, Tim Nance, Letterman Rock.
You're supposed to talk about CJ and then be able to see the field and see who's open, see who's not, see whatever. The dime he dropped to Jackson Smith and Jigger for the go-ahead touchdown is, I don't know, where does that rank in your mind, the passes you've seen thrown and what he brings to the table?
The really good ones can see it. The really goods can anticipate, and the great they're accurate. And that was pretty elite, accurate. It's also the receiver. He's got confidence. I think sometimes if you don't command the ball, I'll look at you second. If I don't feel good, I'm going to the next guy. Jackson's out the hockey game, which is saying, man, I know if I get close, you got a way of getting open and making plays. So, but that was a great throw.
Do you see CJ getting better right now? What are you noticing about him?
Be a little bit louder, more command. Last year early, just we got a lot going on now. He can still handle the thought process, everything he Coach Day and Coach Dennis when you do reads and progressions and check. He's more confident. It gives the line a lot more confidence with command, presence, calling plays, marking out cadence, calling for the ball, making IDs. Just the more he plays, the more confidence, the louder he is, the more assertive that is, and our players feed off of that. Because the voice, command presence has been pretty good because now he's more, he's not that he's not thinking about the throw, but he's confident in throwing up and not too. Sometimes you're thinking so much about that, you can't think about being loud and snap count. There's a lot of falls going on. When you're thinking a lot, you can't do your job. So the more he's doing it, the more confidence he's getting by seeing having better command presence and seeing being louder. After plays, he's more talking to guys about what he likes and sees. That's often while he's playing, he's more loud, he's more confident, he's more assertive, and it helps the line and the other players to play off of that.
All right, we've got time for two more. We're going to go Joey Cotton, Phillips Dispatch.
It's like Paris, we're talking about his ability to be great one-on-one. Because those guys get matched up with really good players out there. And when you're playing them, to me, we're talking about the three positions, the quarterback and the two tackles. When those guys, those are the hardest jobs. That's one of the biggest mismatches on the field. That guy against him. So as big as he is as a talent, as he is the same with Parrish with the talent. Their ability to handle one-on-one matchups, grown men on grown men, one-on-one, and be dominant is a huge challenge. And the great players can do that. And the great quarterbacks have the ability to communicate, see, anticipate. And as a coach, the more we can make their jobs easier, the better you're going to be. When the tackles have easy jobs and quarterbacks have easy jobs, and you can get your scheme, I can go to Jim's scheme defensively, but they can show a lot of looks, but it's easy for them. Really good offense to show you things, but it's easy for us. Really good defense to show you things, but it's easy for them. The more we can make the one job easy, because he is a talent. Those are two talented tackles. Now they need to become players. And players are consistent guys every day. And when we play next year against those 5 top 15, 20 draft picks, which in the Big Ten, where we get matched up against some great ones, they can hold their own every Saturday. And at the end, we can look back and say that was a talented offense because that line showed up and had those matchups every week. And that quarterback sitting pocket was taking apart was collectively got a unit. So the one in Paris, guys that are great, one-on-one, get some of the premier matchups. And the best thing is, We get those matchups in practice. So we get exposed to that on a daily basis. Because he was there, that's kind of where I think just we can Justin, he can get a handle that time if it needs to go that way, but right now, we kind of thought that, you know, would be the way to go. Like, you know, my thought even you're going, you're playing guard, is if you're a right-handed stance, you're the next guy playing right tackle. So you're everything from moving this way, now goes to go this, some guys are a little bit more comfortable, and sometimes it's the matchups. But one of the best guys I ever coached, Trent Williams, played right tackle in college. So I think those are two great ones that we'll expect them both to do the job. If we need a flip or there's a problem, we can move someone. We get the young guys coming, if we need to, probably get Donald Jackson, if we need to attack as well. But we'll keep going. That position's not gonna be a problem. That position needs to keep coming along, because that's a very challenged position in college football.
And final question, Nathan Barrett, Cleveland.com.
So Matt Jones, indeed, for certain jobs. Really guys last year. Like, what is he doing to this offense?
He's doing awesome. He's year 5. He's got some other recognition as an all Big Ten player. That's really the utility guy. He's not been bad. He's a starter. He actually played very good. Me and Donovan, I said, I think with Luke, we're going to be good inside. We get those tackles comfortable outside. That front five's got a chance to be really, really good. Really, really good. But Matt Jones has had a tremendous winter, matured, in good health, in good spirits, in good condition. He has a chance to have a really good year. He's doing really good.
Is it set between him and Donovan?
And right now, we got Donovan left and Matt right and Matt.
Is there a strategy behind why you're so good?
I think we thought that if we needed Donovan to tackle, we were going to move the one to the left, or would not really go to the left, so we got that little left hand stand, so we're getting used to it.
Coach, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.